A piece of amber is as tricky as cutting a diamond. The amber must be cut as close to the insect as possible. Too close will destroy it. Not close enough, and it remains concealed. If the cut is precise, the amber will split right through the middle of the insect, revealing perfect, undamaged tissue. After Grimaldi exposes the tissue, he must quickly and carefully extract it to avoid contamination. Grimaldi compares the process to unwrapping a mummy. An ancient cell, no matter how well preserved, may contain only 2/trillionths of a gram of DNA. It took a decade of trying before scientists at the American Museum of Natural History finally hit the jackpot. They successfully extracted the DNA of a termite like this. Only 300 fragments of DNA survived out of millions. Yet still within their grasp was the genetic blueprint of an animal that has not been seen for 20 million years. Science had moved a step closer to Jurassic Park. Now the question was, could DNA as old as the dinosaurs also survive? The quest for ancient DNA turned amber more than 65 million years old. But dinosaur period amber is among the rarest. This caterpillar, found in Lebanon, is one of only a handful of its kind ever found. It probably lived in the same forest and ate the same leaves as the dinosaurs 120 million years ago. In 1993, on the same day as Jurassic Park had its premiere, the news that DNA had been recovered from another Lebanese fossil had everyone asking, could dinosaurs really be brought back to life? While the stories made headlines, David Grimaldi was on the verge of his own astonishing discovery. One day, an amateur amber collector brought news Grimaldi had waited years to hear. Grimaldi hit the road immediately and headed not to some exotic jungle, but to New Jersey. Here, while land was being cleared for new houses, construction workers uncovered a large seam of amber dating back to the dinosaurs. The sight was beyond Grimaldi's wildest dreams.
My immediate reaction was, I think I was a bit stunned when he showed me that amber, perhaps a bit, I was in somewhat disbelief. And it really wasn't until he brought me out to this site that I actually believed that there was this abundance in a particular area.
Grimaldi and his team have worked against the clock to recover as much amber as possible. To keep other fossil hunters from exploiting the site, its exact location has been kept secret. Amber is just below the surface.
This is a really wonderful piece that has just come out. It's a flow, part of a flow or stalactite of amber, and it actually has a crack in it. But these particular pieces are very likely to have insects in it, and it has some transparency to it.
The amber dates back to the Cretaceous period, 90 million years ago.
It's a real nice gemstone.
Oh boy, yeah, that's real nice. Beautiful piece.
Terrific.
Cloning dinosaurs is still science fiction, but piece by piece, amber is helping David Grimaldi reconstruct the world they lived in.
This site is going to be one of the best Cretaceous deposits in the world. It might not have dinosaurs in it, but it has a remarkable array of fossil flowers preserved in the clays. That plus the ambers and the hundreds of varieties and species of insects and other organisms preserved in the ambers give us a unique insight into the ecology of a Cretaceous community.
This piece of amber contains the world's oldest known ant, and with it, the seeds of a revolution that would radically alter the landscape and change the course of life on Earth. This is the real Jurassic Park. A lush, green, primeval world. It was filled with giant plants like the tree fern, which grew 12 meters tall and had poisonous leaves to protect itself from hungry dinosaurs. Some of these giants had miniature descendants, like the horsetail, a plant that has been around for 350 million years. Plant fossils like those found in amber helped Jenny Evans of the Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew in London recreate this ancient and exotic world.
Before the Cretaceous, before the first flowering plants, environments would have looked pretty strange to us. There'd have been very little colour in terms of petals, but we did have a lot of different kinds of green. You'd have had the unfurling fern fronds would have been red or pink, but that would have been the only colour you'd see.
The dinosaurs evolved in a world without colourful or fragrant flowers. But things were about to change. This is the oldest flower. Preserved in amber, it blossomed on an oak-like tree in some far-off springtime. Only amber captures in such vivid detail the moment the flowering plants took over the earth.
This is what the very first flowering plants would have looked like back in the mid-Cretaceous, 100 million years ago. Each of the individual little yellow blobs is a full flower in its own right. And in this flower we see several things that make it quite different from anything that's gone before. First thing is that the seeds are actually protected inside a coat, which means that they stand far more chance of maturing and germinating into the next generation. Secondly, these plants are actually using insects to carry pollen from one plant to another.
Flowers signaled the beginning of a new way of reproducing. For the first time, seeds had to be fertilized by pollen from another plant. To complete the sexual act, a third party was needed. Attracted by bright petals, sweet nectar, and powerful scents, insects became the unwitting accomplices to plant sex. The result was an explosion of color. Without flowers, our world would be unrecognizable. Today, they make up well over 90% of all plant species.
These plants really represent a major revolution in plant structure, and without them, we wouldn't have any human life on land. These plants are found from the Arctic to the tropics, and we rely on them in so many ways for all our food.
Because of amber, the real Jurassic Park is coming alive. The amber hunters are driven by the knowledge that still more secrets lie hidden in this remarkable gem waiting to be discovered. Insects unknown to science. Real-life dramas frozen in time, minute details never seen before, and ultimately, perhaps the elusive insect that shortly before it died, pierced the flesh of a dinosaur and fed on its blood.
Next Friday at 8, Jurassica asks why Madagascar was home to some of the strangest creatures ever to walk this earth. Coming next tonight, medical detectives follow the psychological profile and DNA testing which led to the conviction of a serial murderer in Virginia.